Hello, everybody. This is Sasha from Sexpert Talks, and today I am having a conversation with Nina Garza, who is as well a sex, love, and relationships coach. She's focused on male sexuality, and she's working a lot with women in danger and vulnerable situations. Thank you, Nina, for joining us. How are you?
Thank you, Sasha, for having me. It's a great pleasure. We've been postponing this podcast due to my fault. I'm sorry, but we're here. Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure and honor to be collaborating with this amazing project that you set on motion. So thank you. Thank you so much. Glad to be here. Glad to be here with you and say hi to everyone.
Great. Thank you so much. So, you have been so busy working, empowering women in who are dealing with danger, with who are in vulnerable situations. Could you tell us a little bit more about that? What is it that you do?
Yes, thank you. Well, as you know, I am in Mexico, in Monterrey. It's a city, one of the biggest cities in Mexico. And I work in an association, an organization that helps women, empower women through their studies and through therapy. We have group therapy with the women that are receiving the not donation, but the money to study a college degree. So women come to us, they ask for a I don't know how to say in English, I'm sorry, like the tuition for their college, you know. They ask for help on that end, and we give them group therapy so they can continue with their studies. You know that many times the reason why women leave the studies is not just economical. It's also like the vulnerability, as you were saying, of being in a situation where the husband won't let them study, or the parents will spend all the money on the men, on the family, and not on the woman. Like the women need to stay at home and be moms. And so we leave a lot of the patriarchal structure here still in Mexico. And the woman that founded this association had these struggles when she was in her teenage years, 20 years ago. This year, the organization is 20 years, celebrating its 20-year anniversary. And she had the same struggle. So when she was like 40 years old, she started studying high school and then finished her college degree. And so she started, when she finished her degree, she started this foundation so she could help other women continue with their studies. So that's what we do. Wow. But she also saw that the money wasn't the only problem they had. They needed all this support so they can overcome this reality that it's still very true in Mexico, that women are not supposed to study. And I'm not talking of everyone, but it's still a thing, you know, like women are meant to be at home taking care of the kids and making a home, and the men go and work and bring the money. Which brings us to this sensitive topic about women vulnerability inside their homes. Being I'm sorry for the ums and the I need to make this clear. It's not my language, so I have a hard time.
I know it's, and I wish we could be speaking in Spanish, which
I know, me too.
Our language. It's the project is it has created in English.
I know.
But yeah, ideally we would be just speaking in our language, which is Spanish.
Yeah.
And it would be a more fluent conversation for both.
Of course. But I'm trying, I'm doing my best, but I do apologize for this
No, but you're
you
doing
know,
a
the
beautiful
words
work.
don't come to mind as quickly as they should or they
Don't
would in
worry.
Spanish. But well,
Don't worry. But
then
let me
we
tell you
have this.
something.
Yes, yes, yes.
Because what you're telling me reminds me so much of the story of my mom. She went through that when she was a young woman. She was living in the north of the country. Monterrey, if you don't know it, guys, is in the north of the country. And it's near the USA. And it's one of the most developed cities. So we are not talking about people that is long forgotten in the mountains. We are
There are no
speaking about
donkeys. There are no
yeah,
donkeys.
wearing sombreros and no,
We
we're
have
talking
cars.
we are talking about people that look like everybody that that look like you and me and that are going through life dealing with the issue of not being supported by the people in their own families to study and to become successful women. And even if they study, they are seen as if their studies were a commodity. Like this phrase, the majors that you study while you get married, right? Like
Of course.
it's like
Yeah.
they don't take it seriously. It's like a woman who is studying in Mexico is seen as less valuable than a man that is studying in many areas or in many families in Mexico.
Yes. Yes. It's very cultural, and it's funny because last year we made a study to see how are women doing regarding the studies, and what we found out is that 51% of women are studying, like 50 I'm sorry, 51% of the alumni in the
In the
colleges
classroom. Uh-huh.
are in the classrooms are women.
Uh-huh.
So we have like moved forward, and now women are studying. The problem is that they don't go and work, like
Yeah.
they don't do what they studied for. You know what I mean? Like,
Uh-huh.
okay, I have my engineer's degree, but now I'm gonna stay at home and take care of my kids. I'm not gonna work as an engineer, you know.
Uh-huh.
So that's the problem that we're dealing with now. It's
Yeah.
still a gender problem. It's still women being more vulnerable than men, but it's not anymore in the studying, like in the classrooms. It's more in the workplace, like, or receiving the same salary as men, or achieving direction,
Directive places,
directive, yeah, sorry.
positions. Yeah.
So that's what we're dealing with, and that is why it is very important to have this psycho-emotional
Support.
support. Thank you.
Yeah.
So they can achieve more once they finish their studies, and once they want to start doing what they love to do. So and then that's the problem, that when a woman doesn't have the same income as a man in a household, the man feels he needs to, or he has the power over the woman, or he is the one that can make the decisions in the house, or you know. So all of these things is what we women are facing in reality now in Mexico. So it's a hard job. It's very sad to see some cases where women want to go out and want to do stuff and want to be successful, and the men are just, and it's not just the men. That's the sad thing, that sometimes even the moms or the sisters or the friends are like, why do you want to do stuff? Just stay at home and be a mom, and that's it. So it's a cultural thing that we're dealing with, and
Mhm.
it's very heartwarming when, is that a word?
Yeah. Heartbreaking. Yeah.
No, I want to say it's very, like, not, it fills my heart with joy
Uh-huh.
when
Okay. Heartwarming.
heartwarming. Thank you. When you see all these women go out and do and achieve, and you know, it's so invigorating just to know how women are making it, and that's the nice part of my job. Of what I
I
do.
love that. I
Yeah.
love that, and I really find that so so many examples. I really find that so relatable because I have seen that. I have gone through that.
Mhm.
I didn't work after I finished my college degree because I immediately got married and got pregnant, and it was extremely disempowering
Mhm.
because I leaving my husband to be the only one who worked meant that he felt that he had power in the relationship, that he felt lonely when it came to earning a living, but that also that I felt vulnerable, that I felt like I didn't have any power, any
Of
voice,
course.
or anything to hold on to. That I could be just lonely without anywhere to go if I wanted to live, and it's really stressful, especially if you think that this happens in relationships where there is violence or where there is not
Of course.
a good relationship and the partner turns into a violent person, and then the woman has nowhere to go to and doesn't have anything to back her up in case she decides to leave.
Yes, that is our reality. That is what we are living. And right now that we're going through this pandemic situation and that everyone's locked down at home, the numbers are increasing. The violence in the domestic violence is increasing alarmingly. I just saw statistics from France, and I guess it was like 60% the raise in domestic violence. I don't have the data for Mexico. I've been in touch with some of the authorities in the municipality where I live, and it has gone like, it's not official, but kind of around 30-40% the calls of women calling to ask for help. So what to do in these situations? It's a very stressful time, and the aggressors will be more aggressive. It's true. One thing I really believe is that every person that is aggressive with another human being is because he learned it somewhere else. Like he was sometimes or many times abused by someone else, and that's the way he learned to cope with stress, with any discontrolled situation, you know.
Yeah.
So these people are suffering, the aggressors are suffering, and they are going to be more aggressive. It's understandable. So I always like to talk also to the aggressors, because as ex as my specialty is male sexuality, I've been in
Mhm.
touch with a lot of men, and although they are not like open aggressors, you know, that they beat their women, they are worried that sometimes they are more aggressive than normal when they are stressed. Like maybe they say, okay, I'm being more sarcastic than I usually am, or I never use such or such words, and now I'm using them. And it's understandable, and they worry. And I know that there are many aggressors out there that they want to do things differently, that they want to act differently. But as we were talking earlier before our podcast, when trauma is in and you start acting because of the trauma you have, it's very hard. So my special call is for all those that have aggressive behaviors to look for help. There is a way out. There is a way to change things. There is a way to do things differently. And there are a lot of people out there willing to help and willing to help you be less aggressive. So that I always like to talk to the aggressors, because and don't get me wrong, I'm not justifying their actions. It's just like there's a reason behind their actions, and there is a solution. And it doesn't mean that you are bad at heart. It means that you have stuff that you have to deal with. You know, I don't believe in the badness of people. I believe that all of us, we are good. Everyone is, we're humans and we have goodness in our hearts. So if you're acting in a way that's hurting others, more surely you have something that you need to resolve. So, okay, that's it. We have been saying that. I also, well, women, what can you do? If you're in physical danger, please go to a shelter, ask for help. Your life is in danger. If you are in physical, if your aggressor is doing physical damage to you, you need to find help for you and for your kids. Usually there are kids involved. So go to a shelter, find a way to protect yourself and the ones you love. And for those of us, well, not me, for those of you who are not, I'm not suffering violence at the moment, thank God, but there are a lot of women that are, and it can be only verbally, it can be emotionally or economically. There's a lot of different violent things that can be happening. Also ask for help. You know, right now there's a lot of help online. People are putting their services, like health and mental health professionals are putting their help out there, almost, some of them free, some of them almost free. So look for help. There are a lot of ways that you can cope with this insecurity of being violented. So some like quick notes could be just like contact with the safety inside of you, contact with that feeling of safety inside of you, and just try to be there more often. Even though things outside are bad or are violent or you're suffering, try to contact with that security inside of yourself, and that will help you get through the stuff you're dealing with.
Yeah, thank you. I think that's so important. So to summarize, yes, you are understanding and you're creating this opportunity for people who are being aggressive to be heard and understood, and to say, hey, look for help, right? Like you can always change, you can always heal, you can always create a better way of being. But that doesn't mean that their actions are justified, and
No,
that
of
doesn't
course
mean
not.
that the
Never.
woman has to endure them or to be the
No,
healer. Like,
no.
please, women, know that you are not meant to be the healer of your
Of your
partner. He
aggressor.
has to
Yes.
look for help somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Not by being. You are not helping by being his punching bag. You're
Thank
not
you.
helping by
Yes.
being there to help him change and heal with the power of your love. You
No.
need to
You need to be
look
safe.
for help. You need to be safe.
You need to be safe, of course. The help they're got. Thank you so much, Sasha, for clearing this up. Yes, definitely the aggressor should look for help outside of home, outside. He is not going to find the help with the person that he is violent with. So women or and I don't and I know that there are men that are being violented by their wives. I mean, or their yeah. So that's why I like to say like aggressor or aggressee. I don't know if that's a word. But the aggressor should find help outside. And if you are being violented, please look for help and be safe. That's the first thing. Be safe always.
Yeah, I think that it's so important to acknowledge this correlationship in which one needs to break it in order to be able to find help. Like, if I am being the recipient of an aggressive act, and the aggressor is my partner, there is no way in which we are going to keep it going. We need to break it up. Doesn't mean to break the relationship, because there are always
No.
different layers of aggressiveness. There are kind of aggressiveness that require a total distance, but there are kind of
Yes.
aggressiveness that can actually be healed, like some verbal aggressiveness can be healed sometimes, or some financial aggressiveness can be healed
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
It's not like it's always the same level. There are different levels and different
And there are
medicines
many
according.
things that can be fixed. There are a lot of things that can be fixed
Yeah.
inside a relationship, of course.
But in order to fix them, you need to get help. So
Yes.
uh, okay, people might feel could be between the wall and the against the wall, because they feel like they have nothing to do when we are in a lockdown, when we don't have like anywhere to go. But that can be wrong, because there are still shelters that are functioning, that we can call to, right?
Yes. Yes. Here in our city, in Monterrey, Mexico, there are the shelters are working and going, and the hotlines for help are working in every city. So yes, we know the people that are working in this. We know that the aggression is going to be, the violence is going to be escalating during this time. So everything is open. Please look, and I'm sure that in every city in the world, there must be shelters and hotlines and therapists and many people willing to help people that are being violented at their homes.
And I would like to say something like a specific advice, and in case you have some, I would like to hear it. But some specific advice I have heard from people that work with domestic violence is, look for a way out by saving some money, hiding some money. It's always important. Make sure that you have a saving somewhere that nobody knows about, so that you can use it if you can at some point leave. Make sure that you live without drama, meaning that you say, hey, I need to go and buy some groceries, I need to go and get something, I have an appointment with the doctor. It's harder to live when we are all in a lockdown, especially if you need to take your children with you. But look for excuse, and look for somebody to help you with,
Don't
maybe.
don't be confrontative.
Yes, exactly. Being
Hmm.
confronted can make things worse. So
Yes.
look for an excuse and for somebody to help you get out of there. Maybe if you get people to come to your house, even if we are in a lockdown, that's a life and death situation. So you need to get people to come to your house and pick you up if you need to take your baby or your kid with you. Don't be confrontative, but look for a way out. And if you need to be out with your kid because he doesn't let you out with your kid, make sure that somebody comes and pick you up. That's a way to make it happen.
Yeah, to have a support system is basic. I mean, when you have a support system, you can do it. You can do whatever. Don't be alone in this. Ask for help. Ask for a friend, some family member, someone that can help you get away and that has your back. Like that, when you feel supported, it's more easy for you to do stuff, to take care of yourself. But if you're all alone, it's harder. It's harder to make a decision of moving from that space that you are in. So to have a support system is super important.
Yeah, and it might seem hard, because one of the things that happens with violent relationships is that your whole environment makes it seem like the aggressor is supported and you're not. Because I have heard so many times that, hey, what did you do to provoke him? Hey, that's natural. All couples argue. All couples get violent from time to time. So please know that that is not true. and that even if your family doesn't seem supportive or your friends don't seem supportive, there are hotlines where there is people that will believe you and that will support you.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nina,
Let's
for
take
it's
a
a
deep
hard
breath.
conversation.
It's a very yeah, like my shoulders are hurting. Yeah, it's hard to know that there are a lot of people out there suffering from this violence, and yeah, there's a lot to do.
Yeah, and each case is different, but there is help. That's the most important thing, because I think that the worst part of that situation is feeling isolated. And now we're feeling isolated, literally, physically isolated. But
Mm-hmm.
people that suffer from violence usually feel emotionally isolated as well,
Yes,
and they feel like there's nobody that's going to believe them or support them or hold them. And that's the first lie. There is always somebody willing to
there
help.
is always somebody. Yes, we are open. We are open to help, to hear, to so yes, there's a lot of people open to help with any situation.
Absolutely. Mm. Thank you so much, Nina, for this conversation. It's so important. So um, we just went from being able to study to make your own money, which is so important because that's one of the topics that has the biggest weights
Yes,
when it comes to being an independent and powerful woman, to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, and the issues of a relationship that gets out of control. So thank
mm-hmm.
you so much. This has been such a nurturing and powerful conversation, and so relevant right now.
Yes, thank you, Sasha. Thank you for having me. I apologize again for my English. It's been in misuse. I haven't been using it. I'm sorry for the last few months, so I was a little rusty there. But I hope every idea is clear, and with all my heart and all my best intentions.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nina. Please don't
Thank you, thank
apologize.
you.
Thank you.
Love
Oh,
you.
love you.